Good afternoon, this is Rich Nelson with Allendale, covering the wrap-up commodity comments here for Tuesday. This is June 8th, 2010. Of key interest today on the grains, a lot of mixed trade here going all the way around. As far as corn, finishing up about $0.015. Of interest on that corn on the charts, people are looking at that lows from back in September. For instance, on the July contract, if you look at that one specifically, you got lows back down to 333 3/4 for the September lows from last year. So you can look at that one, also some other different contracts. But the point is we're very close to those levels. Some people are trying to say we're going to find some little support here. Over on the bean side, looks like down 4 cents here by this, as far as the last trade I have right now. That's not a settlement. Of interest on the beans here, this was the first close for November beans below $9. So that was the key point that some people are looking at here today. The fact that we did finally see the beans weaken up a little bit. Over the wheat side, more of actually an unchanged settlement here, unchanged last trade on the last quote I looked at there. Of key interest as far as the main stories for today, we of course got on those Newswire estimates of what average guesses are for Thursday's report. And as far as corn, looks to be kind of a mixed bag. We're going to drop old crop ending stocks, maybe add a little bit to new crop. Over on the bean side, we're going to drop both old and new crop ending stocks slightly. And wheat looks like we will drop the old and new crop slightly here. So this report shouldn't be a big gangbuster type of report, but we're going to see some slightly mixed action, maybe a little supportive on the beans and wheat according to these average guesses. A lot of news out here regarding small stories, but as far as the main point, we are still seeing weather being a dominant factor and also outside markets. Yesterday afternoon, USDA did tell us that corn crop conditions were unchanged, and beans actually had their very first posting of crop conditions at 75% good to excellent. As we wrote about in last night's comments, that was actually the largest start to any year as far as crop conditions, and also as far as this week itself. This is the largest, the best week ever, so a new record on this end. So as far as the bean numbers, they came in much better than expected here. Wheat, we did see kind of a new winter wheat numbers came out for first harvest estimate down or up 3% as far as the U.S. winter wheat harvest. And as far as the spring wheat, kind of actually a 1% decline on the spring wheat conditions here, so mixed tone. Overall, we're still waiting for the magic bullet as far as higher prices, and seasonally we may see that some of that action here come in maybe by the end of this month here. Over on the livestock day, of course, did see some mixed action there as well. As far as the hogs, one key interest point we will note here, the last couple of days have had some lows on the July contract very close to each other. 77.55 and 77.52. So we're not going to say we have a bottom yet, but keep in mind we do have very strong evidence for a seasonal bottom that usually happens here for cash pork as well as cash hogs at this time of year. We were thinking early this week, meaning Monday, we've pushed that potential bottom in by the end of this week here. So we still contend that we will have that seasonal bottom, maybe simply delayed here for right now. And we are still watching cash pork prices, which have dropped for 4 or 5 days in a row, and cash hog prices. We will note that the cash hogs, at least on this morning's run, were a little higher here. Over on the cattle side, one thing of interest, we did see some very light sales starting the week out yesterday at 93. Keep in mind, last week's trade was 94.95. So the fact we actually started this out on a Monday at a significant decline certainly sets the people up for a little bearish news on the cash side. As far as news out for today, midday beef report showed down 85 cents for choice and down $1.06 for select. So certainly contending with this theme of bearish news on the cattle hitting. Combined with our concerns here as far as the overall economy, looks like we are still set on this decline going into summer for cash cattle as well as cash pork prices or cash beef prices, just as we always see at this time of year here. And the key interest right now is, of course, how about those futures? Do the futures have the right number plugged in for that downside here by midsummer? On the futures side, we can note something of interest here. Same thing like the pork. We have two very similar lows here from the last couple of days of trade. Yesterday, the August fat contract had an 87.60 low, and today 87.62. So we may see some people trying to make some arguments that maybe we're nearing some support levels, not only for the corn, as we mentioned earlier, but maybe even for hogs as well as cattle. So we'll have to watch this in the coming days here. So we got a lot of things going on here at Allendale, a lot of interest with this crop and things like that. Of interest this week, we're going to start talking about our new, our resurgence of our nationwide crop estimates. we make out each week based on these crop progress reports. We're going to start with that weekly number here this week here. So feel free to get on top with anybody here at Allendale to get a hold of that number itself. And our number here is 800-262-7538. Take a look at our research products. You can get that as well, and you can subscribe through calling here at Allendale's headquarters or signing up over the internet. And our website is allendale-inc.com. This is Rich Nelson. Hope you have a good trading day and a good trading week.